Get rich or die trying. Bulletproof Gucci everywhere.
And 50 allegedly being on steroids.
Allegedly?
Then,
Come on.
Then on that album?
That big naturally.
Yeah.
And he got bigger after.
No, he was big on that album.
How about all through the 2000s? Up until like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Is your mic on?
Yeah.
That shit ain't whey protein.
Nah, that ain't 24-hour fitness.
Why does everybody want to get big?
I don't know.
Want to get cut.
Right. And when you get that big and you stop working out, that turns into fat.
Oh, do?
Yeah.
You gotta get lean.
Yeah. Exactly.
Lean muscle only.
Yeah.
Bulk muscle just turns into fat if you don't work out.
All right, let's do this.
Look at Timberland. And Busta
He's back.
Rhymes.
They're back fat?
Yeah. Welcome back to Out of Bounds. I'm Pierce Simpson, and as always, I'm joined here by Complex Sports editor Adam Caparel. Cap, how you feeling, man?
I'm doing all right today. How about you, my man?
Feeling good. Next to Adam Caparel is Mr. Gilbert Arenas. Gil, y'all matching today?
I'm doing good.
Little black
I don't
on
know
black
what that
action.
is. This is Adidas.
Okay.
Adidas fit right here.
Listen,
this is name brand. I don't know what that sweater is.
They still giving you that bag?
Giving me the no, they're just bags of clothes.
Just bags of clothes.
Bags of clothes.
You must have that Derrick Rose lifetime contract deal, huh? They ain't trying to get out of that. Fellas, Super Bowl 52 was this weekend. We talked about it a lot during yesterday's episode with Miko Grimes. Philadelphia Eagles captured their first Super Bowl victory in franchise history. And of course, whenever you win a championship in professional sports, you head to the White House. And with us having the Commander-in-Chief, Donald Trump, a lot of teams are saying, listen, we're not going. And members of the Philadelphia Eagles are taking their stance and will not visit the White House. Chris Long mentioned that he won't go. And Malcolm Jenkins, safety for the Philadelphia Eagles, recently came out and said that he would not be attending the White House. Gil, what's your initial thoughts on players not going to the White House?
I'm 50-50 on it.
Really?
Really? I would.
Shocked by that.
Yeah.
It's 50-50 because I thought winning the championship, going to the White House was part of the whole experience.
Yeah.
I had no idea it had something to do with the actual president. Like, fuck him. Like, what is going to the White House because you're a champion got to do with the actual president that's in term? When someone says, I'm going to Disneyland, right, I don't think they're there to go see Walt Disney him damn self. It's just, that's part of the actual experience. So, like, who gives a fuck about Trump at this point? Because when he's gone in a few years and you look back on that picture and you're not there, it's...
But the thing is
Yeah, but you want a picture with Trump?
Exactly. You want the
be in a
photo
picture?
just like all ex-girlfriends, cross the shit out. Black her out. Who gives a shit?
I don't think it works that way.
Black her out. Who gives that? But I'm saying it's like one of those things where I wouldn't want to look back in 20 years and just be like, yeah, I was on the team. I just decided not to go because the president at that time.
But why would you take a picture or a photo with the President of the United States that alluded to you being sons of bitches earlier this season?
I know, but you're not taking a picture with him. You're taking a picture of...
No, but he's in the picture.
He's in the
I know,
picture.
you can cross him the fuck out.
Yeah, but everything that he stood for is anti-war.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. But
why would you want to associate yourself with that person?
It's not associating yourself with the White House experience.
Yeah, but that's
how I look at it.
Yeah, but you as a citizen of the US.
I don't give a fuck about Trump. But I'm not gonna jade. I'm not gonna everything I worked for in my life. And that's part of the experience. I'm robbing myself because of him. It's like he's stopping me from getting my blessing. Why am I going to let him do it again?
But you can go to the White House anytime you want.
No, you can't.
Yes, you can.
You can go on a tour.
You can?
Yeah. It's a public house, yeah.
Wait, time out. Back up.
I didn't know that.
You played with the Washington Wizards all those years. You didn't go to the White House?
I didn't get to the White House.
You didn't just go visit?
I didn't get to the White House. I didn't get to the White House. I see the White House.
You can
never got in the White House.
You can go tomorrow. You can go to the tour.
Okay. I mean, then that's different. I'm just saying because... It's just weird. It's just weird now because, yeah, we know he's a dickhead, but Bush was a dickhead. Bush Sr. was a dickhead to black folks. Reagan was a dickhead to black folks. But you see all the teams that went, they didn't have a stand against that dickhead. You know?
Times are much different now. Players in the NFL now have much more of a voice, much more of a platform.
But they had a voice then. But I just, I understand what they're doing. I just personally, it's like I'm at, I worked my ass off to get here. I beat him at his own game. But he wins if I don't show up. He wins if he wins.
Because for his core supporters, they're going to say that he won.
Exactly.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. In his mind, he won. He's in it flipping around. I didn't want to invite you motherfuckers anyway.
Well, in his mind, he's the greatest president of all time.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. So how are you like? You're not winning with him. But the only way you win him is he knows you kneel. and you're there, I would kneel in the picture. Fuck it.
Oh, that'd be a good swear.
That would.
I'll kneel in the fucking
classic.
picture. You know, but what I'm saying is, you're letting him win. You're letting him beat you individually out of the chances of a lifetime for you as an athlete. Like, no matter if he's there, Obama's there, whoever's there, your chances of getting to the White House is.
But Cap, this seems like
Like when I won a championship, my whole thing was, I'm going to Disney World, because that was what everyone said.
But that's fair. But I mean, like you said, the optics of it, and Trump, he will always find a way to make him look like he's right, or he's. Look at the Super Bowl, right? So if New England had won the game, you would have seen Trump on Twitter just praising the Patriots, saying, great ownership, great quarterback. Patriots lose, what is he talking about? Viewership's down, NFL's dying.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't
So
let him.
imagine you going to the White House. He's going to frame it as if, listen, I got these guys to come to the White House. They love me. Even though I called them sons of bitches earlier this year, they love me. They still come to
No, we don't. Post it with him scratched out of it. I mean, there's something like you're letting him win by not going. Like he's doing exactly what everyone is telling him. What he's doing everything that he wants to do. Fuck every part of history up. This is the first time players are not going to the White House. That actually fucks history up.
But do you think like Trump's even going to invite the Eagles based on what, same thing what happened with the Warriors, where it's like Steph kind of came out and said, I'm not going to go to the White House, and then Trump rescinded the invitation and never was actually extended in the first place.
Yeah, but that's what he does.
But see,
he's going to let you reject it, and he rejects you.
I think it would be tougher in football for him to rescind that invitation, simply because there's a lot more pieces, there's a lot of different players, a lot of different executives. Basketball, 12 to 15 guys, you can easily say, I'm not going to go.
Go the team situation. If some of your teammates are going to go to the White House and some of them were against going, which side would you fall on? You don't know.
I don't know.
So if we,
I mean, that's what I said. I don't know, because I got to remember, growing up, was part of the experience. So this is a conversation in the locker room.
Yeah.
If the locker room says we're not going, then that's something I have to swallow and say, all right, we're not going.
Listen, I see your point. I see where you're coming from. But for me personally, if I was a player in that situation, I'm not going to go to the White House. I'm not going to go
but that's what I'm saying.
take
Why
a
you
picture with
let-
the guy that called me a son of a bitch.
But why you letting him rob? But he's calling you a son of a bitch. He called you that anyway. But that's what I'm saying. You're making it seem like what you're doing is a privilege to him. What you're doing is a privilege to you. So you're taking away your privilege by not going.
So Chris
Fuck him.
So Chris Long, who won a championship last season with the New England Patriots, had a quote when he refused to visit the White House. He stated, when my son grows up and I believe the legacy of our president is going to be what it is, I don't want him to say, hey, Dad, why'd you go when you knew the right thing was to not go? So maybe it's bigger than just his opportunity to go to the White House. Maybe this is generations down the line. And Malcolm Jenkins also helped raise $89 million for racial equality through the help of the NFL. That kind of got a lot of backlash for a variety of different reasons that it's kind of too deep to get into. But when Malcolm Jenkins has that type of background, Chris Long also, maybe this is in there.
It's a blurb of a year. That's what I'm saying. You're letting a guy ruin history. Over and over, and that's all. Just tearing down history. And when he's done, now it's like the whoever the next president is like everybody want to go to the White House again.
You imagine Gilbert crossing out.
That's what all it is, and fucking cross him out.
Drawing devil
Obama on the bottom.
All right. Keeping it locked in with the NFL is the U.S. losing interest in football. So on Sunday's Super Bowl with the Eagles' 41-33 victory over the Patriots, 103.4 million people tuned in to watch the game, which was actually the lowest turnout of viewership in Super Bowl since 2009. That was the game between the Steelers and the Cardinals in Super Bowl 48. So are we surprised by that we've seen this big of a downturn in the NFL viewership this year?
That's an interesting question. I don't know if I'm necessarily surprised because the ratings have kind of been down throughout the entire year. I think there's more that goes into it. Maybe people are cutting cable, even though Super Bowl was on local TV. But you never know what the issue is.
You never know. It's just one of those things where, I know black people was boycotting this year, not watching it, but the same people that said they wasn't watching it was at the Super Bowl. So,
right. And they were at the Super Bowl parties.
At Super Bowl parties.
He was acting like
obviously
boycotting all
watching
year.
the Super Bowl.
I know. It's always tough. Like, how does Nielsen actually kind of, come up with these numbers when you have all these Super Bowl parties and a ton of people there? I guess it's kind of surprising from my aspect where it's like you have a dynasty in the Patriots and a known quantity, the Patriots, Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, et cetera, et cetera. You would think that would attract a big-time crowd with also a big-time media market in Philly going up against, but I don't know, maybe there's an East Coast bias with this. I don't know. I just thought that you probably see a little bit higher numbers based on the fact that Patriots again, familiarity, East Coast, big media markets, blah, 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 and still we have the numbers that are down.
I think sometimes it's just teams, too.
Yes,
it's just
absolutely.
teams. Like, I guarantee if, like, Dallas Cowboys and the Patriots played,
The world would collapse if that went down. Can you imagine the Cowboys and Patriots? First of all, Twitter would just be in an uproar.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, because it's America's teams.
Yeah.
So those two teams will,
But I guess does this kind of like validate the whole like people actually boycotting the NFL and we're actually seeing the results right now?
We can say that, but when you have 103 million people tuning in, even if that's like going from like 35 points a
But yeah,
game to
that's
31 points
how
a
do
game.
they justify it with Super Bowl parties?
I don't know how it works. I mean, Nielsen has the way they come up with their ratings, and it's obviously an estimate. You can't accurately say that X.
Yeah, because they're doing. I mean, they're just doing it off of TVs being turned on and all that. But if 20 people are in this household, 50 people.
I find it hard to believe that only 103 million people watch the Super Bowl based on the fact that we have parties, streaming, all the different ways to watch games now. You would think that number would be a lot more.
Yeah, I know one thing. I didn't watch it, so. Only because I had other shit to do.
Yeah.
Like make T-shirts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, get out of $60,000.
That was later that night when I realized
But maybe
I could have lost the bet.
Maybe star power has something to do with it, right? Nick Foles is obviously the backup quarterback. People may have not.
But you had the ultimate star in the game, so it's
did, and Tom Brady, and I would have expected that people would have took the Floyd Mayweather approach of, listen, you tune in to see them win, or you tune in to see them lose.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you get more viewership, but who knows at this point?
And
all numbers are manipulated. So.
Thankfully, they lost. That's all I'm going to say about that. Not good for you, though. Someone's in debt. All right, keeping it moving and sticking with the Pats, though. The Patriots are the early favorites to win Super Bowl 53 next year in Atlanta. The Westgate Las Vegas Superbook has opened them up as 4.5 to 1 favorites right now. Steelers are the only other team in the AFC even close to the Patriots. They're 8 to 1. So, question for you guys: surprised? You think that's valid that the Patriots right now off the bat are, again, Super Bowl favorites heading into the 2018 NFL season?
I think that's very surprising because the Patriots have a lot of turmoil entering this offseason, unlike off seasons of years prior. You had the story leading up with the triangle between Robert Kraft, Tom Brady, Bill Belichick. We had Rob Gronkowski pondering retirement, had the Malcolm Butler saga. You have Belichick maybe retiring, maybe not retiring. Tom Brady's, of course, 40 years old, even though his playing the Super Bowl let me know.
Losing a ton of coordinators, your offensive, defensive guys. So, yes, I mean, there's going to be a lot of turnover in New England next year. And Brady's going to be 41, turning 41 in the season or whatever the case is. So it's like at some point, Father Time has to come and hit him square in the face. Hasn't happened yet, which is like insane.
That sounds like a defensive lineman.
Would you lay money on the Patriots right now to win the Super Bowl next year? I wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say no, but it's the Patriots.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Because of the system and because of who's there, as long as those guys, those three main guys are there, then they always has a chance.
Yeah. Philly was 35 to 1 when the season kicked off to win the Super Bowl. So whoever had that, you cashed in big time. Yeah. So congrats.
Only somebody from Philly.
Probably, yeah.
It might have been that dude.
But what team who would you put money on right now?
I had to put money?
Yeah.
New England.
It's 4.5 to 1.
Because I know at least I'm going to get a chance to get there. Everybody else is a wild card.
Yeah.
Jacksonville would be a sexy team to a lot of people.
Jacksonville 20 to 1.
21. I feel like they may take a step back. Surprisingly enough, the New York Giants could be a team that could be viable in the NFC East. They had a lot of talent last year. That was a sexy Super Bowl pick for a lot of people. So maybe they can come back. Of course, Cowboys. That's kind of the hometown team. I'm going to root for them. So we'll see.
Cowboys are 20 to 1.
Okay, that's fair.
But I wonder, if Gronk, I find it hard to believe that Gronk would actually retire. No, I mean, he's 28 years old. He's still in the prime of his career.
Think about
he's
all
had a
the
ton of injuries,
surgeries.
though. Yes, I get that. But if he actually left and the Patriots lost him, I would think their odds would take a decent hit. Not a ton, but they'd take a little bit.
Talk about a tough week. Lose the Super Bowl, ponder retirement, and then you get your house burglarized where multiple safes and possible guns were taken out of your crib. It's been a hell of a week. Actually, not even a week, a couple of days.
Yeah. Rough week.
Days.
Welcome to the black hole.
But going back to Gronk's injuries, I believe 2 back surgeries, elbow injury, knee surgery. That's
He's
a
walking
lot of
infirmary.
That's a lot of
I mean,
body.
If he probably has one, he'll probably retire if Brady retires.
Really?
Well, Brady wants to play 5 more years.
Oh!
He wants to play till he's 45.
But Belichick talked about it yesterday about Gronkowski and the possible retirement. He said every player goes through a certain process in the season. We even saw Earl Thomas ponder retirement last year whenever he broke his leg. So maybe players just get tired and they just say,
they tired. They looking at.
Listen, he just got done playing a long ass season.
Yeah.
And you're beat up, and your mentality.
No, he's coming back. He's going to sit in that summer party, and he's going to get his little party on.
You take a month off, you start your party, you start your training again. He'll be good to go in the summertime. I'm going to give you two selections that I think are good bets to put your money on right now.
Let's see.
I'm going to take the Falcons at 18-1 right now.
Nope.
Super Bowl's in Atlanta. Yes, the turnaround. Because teams that lose a Super Bowl are always due for regressions, which we saw with the Falcons this year. Patriots may be due for one next year.
They could be, but the Falcons, there's several things going against you. One, the Falcons have been known to kind of come up short in big-time situations. We've seen that twice.
That's a Georgia problem.
That very well could be the case. And also, how often do we see, not even how often, we've never seen a team play a home game in their very stadium for the Super Bowl. Minnesota came close this year. And also, I don't see it with them.
Don't buy the Falcons. Other team I like on here I think has great value. You're going to knock me for this one, but Saints at 16-1. We saw a huge improvement of the defense, and still you have Drew Brees getting it done offensively. So a few tweaks here and there with Sean Payton.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he played.
Still getting it done.
Played pretty well this year. Yeah. But we'll see if Mark Ingram and company can still have the same type of rushing attack they had this year. Because if teams are loading the box and making Drew Brees beat them.
But the AFC, other than the Patriots and Steelers, kind of still trash.
Yeah. Kind of. Yeah,
Patriots, we're going to be there.
Texans might be a dark horse. Watch out for the Houston Texans.
Let's slow the roll a little bit, right?
Hey,
what are the Texans?
Hey, who else in the
Texans
AFC?
1,001.
What are the Texans right now? They're 20-1, actually, better than I thought.
Well, here's the thing. Who else is in the AFC?
Ain't the Jets.
That's it. Unless they get your boy Kirkland Cousins.
Hell no.
Now, while we talked about a variety of teams in the NFL that are poised to potentially make a Super Bowl run next year, there's a team in the NBA that's struggling who has some championship pedigree, and we're going to talk to Gilbert Arenas about what the Cleveland Cavaliers can do to fix their woes. This is the pull-up.
That's like skirt. Pulled up. That was nice.
Gil, the Cavaliers have been struggling tremendously this season. After Saturday's primetime blowout, you still giggling about the skirt.
Because of this segment pull up. I'll pull up on all three of y'all.
After the Cavaliers got dismantled over the weekend against the Houston Rockets, a game that you kind of predicted incorrectly.
Kind of?
He did. The final score was 120-88. The Cavaliers are 0-8 on nationally televised games. LeBron James said they should take us off of every nationally televised game for the rest of the season. We haven't played good ball. We got our butts kicked every time we play on national television, so I'm at a loss for words. Cavs have lost 13 of 20 since December 19th and have given up more than 118 points 8 times during that stretch. Gil, what can the Cavaliers do to fix their woes?
What's so funny is I remember it's that I understand LeBron when he talk about just take us off TV.
Yeah.
Because it just I remember in Arizona we got our alternate red jerseys.
Yeah.
We were so hyped about the red jerseys, but every time we put them on, we got our ass kicked. And it's just one of those things that came with it. So every time we seen the red jerseys, even though we loved them at heart, it resulted to an L.
It was just that mojo.
So it's like the mojo of playing on TV, they don't have it right now.
Is it an embarrassment thing? Do they get embarrassed whenever they get just whacked on national television?
No, it's just what's happening. And now that it's because you wouldn't know that you're 0-8 unless someone said it.
Yeah.
So now that it's said, now every time they play on national television, it's one of those, those dark horses in the back.
Yeah.
Cleveland has a problem with, you hear, trust and all this. It's bigger than what people think it is.
Yeah.
Because you have too many moving parts. And the moving part is you have J.R. Smith, who's been there, who's in the lineup, out of the lineup, in the lineup, out of the lineup. So you done fucked his ego up. So him coming to play and being, the top level player he is for that team on a consistent basis is not going to happen. Now you have IT, who is this close from probably exploding.
Yeah.
Knowing what happened.
Wait, you mean the hip or like performance?
just mentally.
You saying his lower body?
Every time he hits the floor, I'm worried that hip's going to break.
Just mentally. Okay, think about a guy who was in Boston. He was Boston.
Yeah.
Right? This year, if he played like he played last year, he would be a supermax player at 250.
Yeah, but he's not. He's nowhere close to
so think about it. If you traded him out and you put him in Cleveland, you honed down that 250 to probably about 125 if he gets that. You don't think that shit is eating at him inside? So now he has to try to play like a supermax player, and he just got back.
And despite the fact that he says he's only 75 to 80%, right?
Yeah, so you have a guy who's chasing, even though he says he's not chasing, somebody who's chasing what he was as a super max. That's why so much salt was going towards Boston, because he was a super max player in Boston at 250. You putting him in Cleveland behind other stars brings his money down.
So you're saying that's pretty big. So you're saying that Isaiah Thomas' issue with Cleveland wasn't necessarily how the trade went down. It was the fact that, hey, you're potentially hurting my earning potential.
Yeah, you hurt his whole status by that trade.
So do you think he would rather go to a team where he could just be the ball dominant guy? Like,
I mean, come on. If you were the main guy, you was an all-star, all second team, first team, third team guy, and you make it again, it puts you in this category. Right. You go behind LeBron, you just hit in this category. And you add those two, then you add Jay Crowder, Jeff Green, D. Rose, Wade. Those guys are main players, and they're new to the team.
Yep.
So you basically have 6, 7 guys who are on the top 8 or 9 in a rotation that are new. Yeah. So they don't know how to play with each other.
So how do you fix it? You don't know?
You just play. You got to take your hits.
Yeah, but I just don't think this team has talent.
The team has talent. They have defensive talent. They have.
Whoa.
Okay, D. Wade is a defensive player. Jay Crowder's a defensive player. LeBron's a defensive player. Jeff Green is a defensive player. Tristan Thompson's a defensive player. You have defensive players. They don't know how to play together as a defensive unit.
But here's the thing about those.
That's what I'm saying. All these guys are new. It's like, all right, play.
But here's the thing about those defensive players that you named. Those players, none of those players could play together because none of those players can shoot the basketball.
But you got to remember, these guys are just getting together. They're not like every other team where you're putting one person here, 2 people here, a bunch of role players. These guys are main guys playing big minutes, and they're getting pushed out there. Like you had a 3-week, training camp.
Yeah.
One of the main players wasn't there. Derrick Rose leaving and coming. Like,
LeBron James is battling a sprained ankle.
This team is just up and down. They have not had no stability in that team.
Yeah, but you know what? They're not helping themselves either with these comments. Like, Ty Lue talking about distractions and playing, but putting it out loud for everybody, saying that, there's guys playing for alternate reasons. Yeah. Talking about there's a lack of fight right now with the team. And, how they don't air their dirty laundry per se, but they allude to it a lot with LeBron and Ty Lue.
Well, you're going to do it. I mean, you're frustrated.
Why do it, though?
Because you're going to ask me the question.
You can also choose to say no comment.
And then we get fined.
How much of
you don't get fined for that. If you say no comment to somebody, no, you don't.
Well, let's pull it back, right? How much of the Cavaliers' struggles this season goes back to LeBron James and Kyrie Irving saga from this summer? If they just make amends, this whole struggling for the Cavaliers doesn't necessarily happen.
But it doesn't make amends. He wanted out. He wanted to be a star himself.
Is that the truth? Or he heard he was going to get traded to Phoenix
That trade for Boston's looking better and better every single day.
Every single day.
Who knows until both teams meet?
Literally every piece.
See, that's what I'm saying. Everything looks gravy until both teams meets, and you got 2 players who hates Boston. You got LeBron who has that. Now you have a couple players that says, you know what, we don't get along, but fuck them though.
Yeah.
And you know who should be the favorite in the East right now? Who? The Celtics.
Toronto Raptors.
No.
Celtics has to play against a dark horse demon who don't actually like them. IT's going to come to play. That's a problem. Like, you got to remember.
They don't play defense.
We might not like each other. We might not like each other as people, but if we hate him more, let's go. We're gonna fuck them up. But that's what's gonna end up happening is when those two face, that Cleveland team is gonna say, look, whatever's going on right now, put that shit aside. We're going to get through.
Okay, fellas, I'm going to give you some hypothetical trade scenarios. Trade deadline is, I believe, Thursday at 3 Eastern. See if the Cavaliers can make them better in any way, shape, or form.
I don't think there's a trade out there that can make them better.
Exactly.
They're not going to trade. You already have an unstable team. Don't add anybody else.
So I
want to hear these. Let's go.
According to reports, George Hill has been offered to the Cleveland Cavaliers for Channing Frye, Amon Shumpert, and potentially a pick. That trade hasn't gone through for a variety of reasons. Does that move the needle at all?
Dumb as fuck.
No. Okay, so that's all.
Why would you trade Channing Frye right now? You don't
expiring contract.
But you don't have fucking.
You lose another shooter.
You don't have Love.
And also,
how does George Hill make them measurably better in the East?
Backup point guard he doesn't, and he's owed $19 next year.
You have 52 backup point
guards. And the Cavs have massive cap issues going forward.
Very true. Very true. Their pick, which is around 25 to 26 right now, not the Brooklyn pick, but their very own first-round pick, to the Los Angeles Clippers for DeAndre Jordan.
I don't think that makes him any.
You already have Tristan Thompson.
I think Thompson would have to go to.
You can throw Tristan Thompson in that deal. No, we're not going with that.
No.
DeAndre Jordan doesn't make the Cleveland Cavaliers better in any way, shape, or form. Why not? Because he can't shoot.
Because you just added another piece who don't know these players.
Okay.
They need perimeter. They need help defensively on the perimeter more than anything. They need wing guys that can get in those lanes, the pass lanes against the Celtics.
But they
obviously
have
against
those
the Warriors.
guys.
They don't, though. They really don't.
They got them guys.
So this last trade might be a little spicy, but you might not like it considering what you said the Cavaliers need. How about a trade involving Kevin Love going to Portland, where he's from the area, for C.J. McCollum? Also, that Brooklyn pick goes to Portland as well. C.J. McCollum becomes a 2-guard for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and Kevin Love heads to the Trailblazers.
Nope.
Not feeling it?
C.J. McCollum is a average at best defender.
Right.
The Cavs need better defenders.
But
they have shooters right now that aren't shooting well.
But the Cavaliers,
they are shooting like garbage. Korver hasn't been that good.
They have good defenders that just don't know how to play
but Gilbert,
with each other.
We're at the All-Star break. You should know how to play
But
with
think
each
about
other,
it. No, because 2 games later, this motherfucker is going out.
Yeah.
3 games later, he's coming back. Derrick Rose missed fucking, I don't know how many games.
So do you make a coaching
change? Then he
change
comes back.
if it's rotations? Do you make a coaching change if it's rotations?
Whatever you do, you have to give everyone, like no one knows their role. Like, is J.R. Smith a starter or not a starter?
Well, that's on Ty Lue then.
Huh?
That's on
yes,
Ty Lue.
I mean, right now it's Ty Lue.
But they don't want to make a coaching change.
He needs to make not a coaching change. You need to, here's my starters.
Yeah.
Here's my bench players. That's it. Let's go. If you like it, don't. But you're not going to keep sitting here doing this thinking you're going to get the best out of your players.
Here's the issue.
Like, if I know I'm starting one game and I'm not starting the next game, oh, trust me, I'm fucked up.
You know who they need to get?
Who?
Paul George. You know who's not available? Paul George.
And also, we mentioned the starting lineup. The starting lineup that they have together that involves IT, LeBron James, and company is one of the worst starting lineups in the NBA. So maybe you just flip-flop that entire rotation.
Ty Lue, please, dear God, for everyone's sanity, do not use a backcourt of IT and Derrick Rose at the same time, because that is the worst defensive backcourt in the history of mankind.
We might get buckets on them.
It's too many athletes, and he don't know what to do with it because he never had enough time with all of them.
Yeah.
He didn't have enough time to get them all together at one time, and all it's taking is a little bit of practice in games, and he's trying to figure it out.
And also, LeBron due for sabbatical very shortly.
Yeah.
Like, isn't
no. LeBron's going to take his 2-week notice.
It's going to happen.
In a minute. Back injury, hamstring. Something's coming in a minute to give this chance, to give his team a. But I don't think he can right now because they're losing.
Yeah.
A lot, and if he misses 2 weeks, they're gonna probably dip.
Can you delay it to March though? It's too late then, right?
We'll see.
I don't know. He probably missed his window. Usually it's around January where he takes his 2-week hiatus to let everybody get their shit together.
Yeah. Well, speaking of hiatuses, fellas, we have to take one for the rest of the day. That wraps up the latest edition of Out of Bounds. How we feeling? Feeling good? No?
We can talk more Cavs.
We can.
We'll call it a day for right now.
Call it for a day right
Look,
now.
as he closes code, it is Gilbert Arenas,
Time
ladies
to
and
go.
gentlemen. For Adam Caparero, Gilbert Arenas, I'm Pierce Simpson. This is the latest edition of Out of Bounds. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, but also, again, like you can't help an injury. The injury's not. The injury wouldn't have got him 250 anyway. So
no, but like,
well, here's the thing. At his
also, no. Here's my counter though. You really want to pay IT, who's
No.
250? Hell no.
No. You don't want to pay him 250, but at the end, that's his category though.
It's his value potential.
Yeah, potential. But now there's
you know what's tough? There's no cap space this summer. Who's going to pay him?
No, but I'm
Everyone's
just.
still
What I'm
messed up
saying
from the summer 2 years.
But what I'm saying is, I'm just saying, if his cap ability is 250, and now you're talking about 100. I mean, that's a big fucking dime.
But here's the
that
thing.
He can never get that
The
back.
Celtics weren't going to pay him that regardless.
I know they wasn't going to pay, but look, you might not have to pay me, but as long as I got that tote tag of I can possibly get 250, somebody's stupid enough to give me the 250. If not, give me the 185. That's still better than.
You gonna go to Sacramento for $250 million?